about cohabitation, or somebody on our team said permanent awashia. You are permanently awashian. So in a relationship, most, the way it should happen in our society, how it's accepted is you meet somebody, you court or you date, and if we use modern language, and you then have the traditional engagement and you get married and then you move in together. However, it is 2015 and people will say in modern times people are shacking up. They're living together, unofficially hitched. Should you as a woman or as a man live with somebody you're not married to? Well, I have two guests and we're going to delve into that conversation. First and foremost, right next to me we have Nana Boakye Adjumambedu. He joins me, as well as Taylor Mercy. And Mercy, you're a fashion designer and you are also a medical student, so doctor to be. Doctor. All right, so thank you for joining us. I'm going to start with you, Mercy. Mercy, you see nothing wrong with permanent awashia. Why is that?
I'm thinking if you're in love with someone maybe you've dated a person for a year or two and you decide to move in together with a person. That doesn't mean, I'm thinking it's okay to live with that person. You trust the person enough, and the commitment is what that matters. We don't have to go through all the processes of being together. And sometimes I think too, if anything should happen, you're not sure of it. It's an easy way out too than to go through all the divorces and everything. So I'm thinking it's okay.
So you think if you break up, you just get out? No need to go through lawyers or anything?
No, it's easy that way. And I'm thinking it's also cool. I wouldn't mind living with someone I'm really in love with and I'm committed to.
Okay, well, what about people that will say, well, if you go and live in a man's house or you move in with him, you have just given it to him for free. It's just free. He doesn't, you're actually, to lack of a better term, something, well, you're being too easy. Okay. He has to marry you first.
Yeah, we all say, some people will say that, but think about it. People are married and they want to get out and they are not happy, and some people are treated unfairly, but just because it's a marriage and they have kids, they are finding it difficult to live because of their kids. And people get married thinking it's they are committed to each other. They enter the marriage and you realize that there is nothing like commitment or trust in the marriage. What if I have that commitment and trust with that person? Does it mean I'm giving anything easy to that person?
Okay, Nana, you're not for cohabitation. Why is that?
Okay, it has to do with the mentality generally that women have before cohabitation.
You said women. Okay.
Women or ladies. Okay. They tend to think that cohabitation is an inevitable step to marriage. And for men, usually it's just a test drive. They just want to find out if they can live with you or if they cannot.
But I think that's actually a good thing. Personally, for me, I think is Benny Blanco earlier on mentioned he was married and he lived with his wife for 2 years before they got married, and he said it's actually good because they got to know each other's faults before marriage. Isn't that a good thing?
Well, it's a good thing if eventually you realize that the person is compatible, so you can live with the person. But then when you realize that you are incompatible, it becomes a lot of stress, especially for a woman who has given so much. Her time, she probably washes, she cooks, she gives you her body and all.
Maybe he cooks. I like when a man cooks. Maybe he's the one cooking. Times have changed. Are we so set in our ways that women do this, men do this?
Generally, because of the idea that they have before walking into that cohabitation, it looks more like marriage for them. So they give in their all. And these men sometimes also take advantage of the situation. After all, they are getting everything for free,
So it's almost like if you're living with a man, he doesn't need to marry you because you're just there.
Exactly. Why buy the cow if you are getting the milk for free?
Okay, good point. But let me also throw a spanner in the works where people who don't live together before they get married, and it's happened. We even had a doctor on the show who came to talk about some of the issues some people have. Physically, like because they didn't test drive, as the saying goes, before. So essentially, yes, you don't live together and then you finally get married and then boom, you're married and then you find out that I don't like living with this person. This person, I don't pretty much know about their habits. Isn't it advisable that by living together, that's how you get to see if you should marry them?
Well, that is really true to an extent. That is really an advantage for cohabitation. You get to learn what the person likes, the kind of habits, whether you are compatible or not. But then sometimes I also see this as a disadvantage, because when you're in a marriage, you try to make things work. That strengthens the marriage. But then when you're in a relationship, you're just cohabiting and you have little issues, you just tend to walk away.
Well, okay, that's a good point. Mercy made a good point. Yeah. You just said that. Well, in marriage, if you're there, you're miserable. But if I'm just cohabiting and when I'm not happy, I'll just get out and leave. Do you find it's an easier way?
I'm thinking if you are just it depends on the problem at hand. It couldn't be any little issues that you just walk away. For instance, you are in a relationship with someone, but yet still you're not staying together. You get problems, you solve them, you move on. You get problems, you solve them until you get married. So, put it that we are staying together now. It's not just that I'll just walk away with a little issue. Something major can come up. Maybe the person has been cheating on you over and over again. You found out, you work it through, you find out, you get to some point, can't take it any longer. And it's easier to just walk away. But talk of you are married, you have kids, maybe you don't live.
But some people cohabit and they have children and not married.
Yeah, but it's easier to walk away if you still
because legally. All right, let's look at marriage, because marriage in our parts of the world is not just two individuals. It's a family. It's a family thing. So you're okay with the idea of it. You think there's nothing wrong with it. Do you think your family would be okay with you living with a man and you're not married to?
Honestly speaking, no.
Okay.
My family wouldn't be okay with it. My mom would go so crazy about it. My dad would talk about it, but he's one of most quiet people who just say it and just move on. My family wouldn't be okay with it. But what I've learned from my family is they give you the chance to make your own choices. They will tell you not to do it, but if you insist on doing it, fine. When it comes to a point that they have to support you, they will support you.
Okay. There's a point too, which was made earlier, that if you cohabit with someone for 2 years or more, automatically that person is your spouse. They're used to, spousal, whatever spouses get. So if you do break up and the person can say, well, it's like a divorce essentially. So then do we even need marriage in the first place if people can live together and still get the same legal benefits like spouses should get?
There's that regulation in other countries.
It happens here.
Yeah,
it's not other countries, it's here as well.
Well, I know that they are working on it. I don't know if they've really passed the bill on that if you cohabit for some time, it's legally recognized as marriage. But sometimes there's also a difficulty. Our traditional system, like the Fantis, if you just cohabit without performing the traditional rites, you don't accept this as marriage.
Okay.
So if children should come out of it, or if one of the spouses should die, they force you to marry the dead body. That is how bad is it? How bad the situation is. They don't accept it. So our traditional system does not really accept it, and marriage really has to do with more of you and the family than the legal system actually.
So do you think then we're becoming too westernized? Because I honestly, I can imagine a few years ago, maybe a man or a woman living together without some kind of customary thing. But now it actually it's happening. And I know a lot of people start as students because, I'm sure most people just don't say, let's move in together. You spend one night, you leave a toothbrush, you start leaving some socks or whatever, then you get a drawer. And then it happens. It's a gradual thing that happens over time. So do you think this thing is something that we're learning? Is not a Ghanaian thing? Let me ask you this, Mercy.
Yeah, I think we are learning. It's not a Ghanaian thing. Traditionally, my grandma told me you have to get married before you move into a man's house. But since we are learning from other people, we are watching movies that you see. Oh, so let's move in together. He brings a drawer. Oh, you have a drawer in my house, and it's keeps going. Okay, why are we moving into your place and you're coming here? So if you're staying in the same house,
you might as well just stay.
Yeah. So it's something that we are learning from other people, and since we are learning a lot, it's one of those.
But do you think it's a good thing that we should be picking up, or do you think we should stick to our culture where, the idea is, we have to do things the traditional way, or in this day and age, in the time of WhatsApp and smartphones, is it even possible to stay very traditional?
Honestly speaking, I would say no matter what we do, we still go back to where we come from. I could stay with a guy for a very long time. If he's not popping the question, I become irritated. Like, we've been living together. Am I not good enough for you to get married to me? Even if I'm not doing it, your family is going to push it. So no matter what we think, I'll be like, oh, I'm okay with it. Let me stay with him. It's fine. We are committed to each other. We like each other. But your family will start pushing you. When is he going to marry you?
Do the official thing.
Yes. So it's not like we are learning, yes. But yet still, we will still fall back to where we come from. No matter what we do, we still fall back to where we come from.
Nana, let me ask you, because in terms of, I find that I don't think a lot of people set out to cohabitate. I actually think it's something, mentioning that gradual thing. Like, okay, so it begins 1 toothbrush. Oh, you spend a couple of nights, 1 toothbrush. Okay, then, let me just leave a few bits and pieces. If you're in a relationship and you find yourself in a situation like that, because I'm sure you don't set out, but it's been a few months and now you know that what started as one drawer now has a whole wardrobe. What would you say to the woman? Would you tell her to get out? Like, because most people, I feel like, don't do it on purpose, but if you find yourself in that situation, what would you do?
Well, it's true. Most people do not do that on purpose. Our society is evolving. Currently, with the nature of work, you wake up at 6, get back at 6, you're tired, you don't get to spend a lot of time with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. So people cohabit so that they...
With it's easier. Sometimes
with the least
convenience.
With the least time they have, they can spend with their... Yeah. And if you are spending so much time together, why not live in the same...
No, and she's in your house every other night.
Oh. Well, it's something that I'll try to avoid anyway. Looking at the disadvantages is something that I'll try to avoid. But if it comes in...
no. Wait. So if it comes, because there's a convenience aspect of it. Because I'm just thinking, if maybe you've gone out for the weekend, it's after midnight, it's probably not safe to go home. So you just say, just spend the night. So at what point do you say, no, this is wrong, I don't want you to spend the night, or if you go there, at what point do people just say, no, we can't do this anymore, if you're in that situation?
Sometimes what the two of you really are looking for could be different. Maybe you are not ready for marriage, but then you've been cohabiting for long. The girl has been getting pressure from friends, from
No. Just answer the question. I just want you to answer the question. You keep going round. No. Answer the question. You're in a situation. A girl is in your house. You've been, your girlfriend. You love her and everything. You respect her. You just keep spending lots of time together. This is something that you just think, is not a good thing. How do you tell her, I don't want you staying over anymore? How do you get back to just doing dates and bye-bye?
No, if she's my girlfriend, I can really talk to her and she will understand that this is not how I prefer things to work. I prefer that we stay independently in our homes and try to build ourselves and try to build this relationship.
Okay, but question, would you still be sleeping with her?
No.
You wouldn't be sleeping. So if she's out of your house, you won't sleep with her?
No.
But when she's there, you would?
No. Even that, no.
Okay, so you don't believe in sex before marriage?
No.
Have you done it before?
No.
Why don't I believe you? Why don't I believe you?
I'm a Christian, please.
There's a lot of Christians that have sex.
That is true. There are a lot of... Sexuality is a strong aspect that a lot of people flaw. But as a Christian, I think it's something that you should learn to control. It's an aspect of your life that you should learn to control. Yes.
I think it's great. But is religion a part of the reason you're also against cohabitating?
Yeah.
Okay. What about your, what's your religious beliefs?
Okay. I believe in God, and I wouldn't say in Ghana. The moment you say you are a Christian, it brings a whole lot of.
So you don't want to touch yourself.
No. Let's put it that. I believe in God solely. Okay. I pray. I do all those things. But the moment you are saying, okay, this is what I believe in, I'm okay with cohabitation, and For instance, if I should say I'm a Christian now on air, it will be a problem.
As a Christian, the Bible says.
So
okay.
I'll say I believe in God and I believe in other stuff.
Okay. So, in terms of at least your religious belief, do you think when it comes to religion, since you don't have any kind of attachment to a religion that says you can't do this, is that why that makes you a bit more relaxed when it comes to living together before getting married?
Yeah, I think so, because the moment you attach yourself to a particular belief, I think that if I say I'm a Christian, I should live my life like
true, yes.
I have to obey the Bible. I have to make sure I'm not fornicating. But let's be honest here, most of us are doing stuff.
And as you said, I go back to him. He's like, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Like that's the excuse. Okay, let's be honest. And that's why we like having these conversations, because I mean, a lot of, even you have pastors whose children get pregnant at the age of 14 and 15. It happens.
Girlfriends somewhere.
We'll leave that.
Yes. So I would say I believe in stuff, and I'm thinking I believe in love, and I believe in commitment and trust. So if I should love I think I'm saying I could cohabit based on those three words. I trust the person, I love the person, I'm committed to that person. That's enough for me to cohabit for a while.
Okay, so you live with a guy 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years has gone by, 10 years has gone by. He hasn't married you, and he makes no move to marry you. Are you still okay with that?
Me, I am. But that's what I'm saying. You always fall back to your traditions. Even if you are not making a move to tell him that, okay, this is what's happening. We've lived for over 20 years. We are not married. The family would. If I don't tell him... So
you're disrespecting our child or our family?
Yes. Okay. If I don't tell him, my mother would, my dad would, my brother or sister, even a friend of mine would. Or I would have a friend who start pushing me, okay, you know he's not married. He can just go ahead and marry someone somewhere and it's going to bring a whole... So what are you doing about it? Even though I believe that I'm okay with it. So is marriage important to you? Is that piece of paper? Is that gathering of families? Is it important to you? Because I know some people who do not care about marriage. They feel like marriage is not a big deal. What, do you think marriage is a must? If we're talking about marriage, yes, marriage is a must.
It is a must?
Yes.
Okay,
me.
So if marriage is a must, then in catch-22 then, what about then those that say, well, then just get married? Does that make sense? If you're living together, just get married.
Yeah, it makes sense after some time. That's what you're saying. You stay with someone for a while, you get to know you are compatible, and you get to know you want to live together for a longer period of time. So why not get married?
So the test drive, so then should there be a time limit, for example? Then you say, okay, fine, we'll live together for 6 months, but we have to get married. Is it that's when you...
Time limit will be relative. It will depend on the two people involved in this. The time limit will depend on both of you. So sometimes the man would offer the marriage, but the woman thinks I've not really achieved what I... It's a different world now. It's not only the women that we are pushing to get married.
Oh, some men are... Trust me.
So a woman will be okay with it, but at some point, what if it's the man that is pushing you to get married? So I might want to get married someday. Sometimes you stay together to achieve your dreams and everything before you decide that let's settle and be husband and wife. Maybe as we are living together now, I'm not ready to get married. That's why we are living together, just to get to know each other and see if we are ready together. But I would want to be married someday.
Okay, all right. So we went out onto the streets to get some views about what the public think about cohabitation. Take a look.
Cohabitation is not exactly a bad thing. It depends on the person, the two people who are living together. If the girl and the man know how to control themselves, know how to handle themselves around each other, I don't think it can be bad. You can either build a stronger relationship, because you can't just live apart and one day all of a sudden say you're going to get married and when you start living together, then the problem starts surfacing. You weed them out earlier by living together, seeing the other person, how they are when they're at home. When you get to know that, then when it's time for marriage, it's just a formal process, you know.
First, obi wa wo se ahokyere nti mini baby ametene nti no akwakwotena be man. So first onya wo ho ade obebu kwasia enti anya advisable so ba pa de obe sorry say wote be ma so no awo mienu anansa miensa or you su kwa.
For me, it's not a good thing. because if the ladies living with the guy and acting as couples, and though they will be helping each other, but if something happens to the lady, it will cause a problem to the guy, because the parents, the lady's parents might take it different way.
It's not advisable because you know men move away with their eyes. When you get to a side, they'll get sick and tired of you.
Generally, the Ghanaian society is changing. We've had a lot of influences from foreign countries and watching movies, and I think these things are becoming a part and parcel of us each day.
Challenges near Bibru, we feel so a Christian, and Ubetima do so. So the more Mucheno, a condom be better my ramumu, na Marsha ya, na ni say akopium, and the right thing now obey and say, a so unyuhu and free obey man ho, because so oba ubuhu na utrau ma mifia no papa fia, bear man or buobi or the mouth, so obey trau chair. Ade ohia wo ho no wanya dada enti always suban bi a wo mu ni nyamanyama o ware o be ho no na nyama ni na akopie tama mu na mu date no.
All right, cool. So there's some sample views. I like the woman because okay. And the way she said it, and that's the thing about, I think in our society, most people do feel like if a woman lives with a man, then it is, you know, she's cheapening herself. However, I feel there's a generational gap, because there's a lot of people who think there's nothing wrong with it. What I will say, you know, just to throw a spine in the works, if fine, you don't live with the guy, but yet you're still going there, and going there in the afternoon, spending all the time together, you're going home at night. Isn't it the same thing? Is it just a hypocrisy that we're trying to just hide here? Nana?
Well, yeah, if really you are doing everything, and
yes,
and
you do it in the afternoon delights,
then you must as well just sleep over. But really, if you stay together and you are giving in so much, it delays marriage within a reasonable time. And that is when the stress comes in, whether the lady is looking for marriage or whether the man is looking for marriage. That is when the stress comes in, because there's pressure from the society, from the family, from friends. And if you are getting, once again, if you are getting the milk for free, why buy the cow?
But I think even if you're getting the milk for free, you know, as Mercy said, in our culture, family pressures at some point is gonna
get to you.
Yeah, yes. It's going to say, okay, do it. All right, so again, in terms of, before we end up, Mercy, let me just ask, in terms of society's views of it, would you be okay with people looking down on you and saying that, oh, again, you're cheapening yourself if you live with a man you're not married? Because people would maybe whisper behind your back. Would you be okay with that?
I think in our society, we actually we always have the freedom to do what we want, but sometimes we live our life according to what people are dictating for you. If I'm living with someone and I'm happy and you're whispering behind me, and you're living with your husband and you're not happy, who is lying to each other? Like, I'm being honest with myself. I'm happy with this person. But you are lying to the society. Oh, I'm a married woman. I'm happy with my husband. At the end of the day, he's hitting you or even treating you really bad.
But you can still be cohabiting with someone and he's still hitting you. That's not the excuse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that I'll only cohabit with someone that I trust, I have commitment with. The person is not treating me bad. If I'm cohabiting with you and you raise your hand, I'm packing my things and I'm leaving your house. Even if I'm married to you and you raise your hand, I'm packing my things and I'm leaving your house. Because if you don't trust me enough, or if you're going to use me as a drum every day, why should I live with you in the first place?
Okay. All right. We are out of time on this. I want to just say a big thank you to my guest, Nana Boachia Jamambedu, who is a medical student, and we have Mercy Taylor. She's a fashion designer. We're going to take a quick